We're about to follow a single molecule of water on what is, no exaggeration, one of the most incredible journeys on Earth. It's this unseen, epic quest that powers pretty much all life, and it's happening right now in every single plant all around you.
And it all starts with a puzzle that really seems to just defy physics. I mean, how does a massive 300-foot redwood tree, or even the little plant on your windowsill, pull water from the ground all the way up to its highest leaf, with no pump and no moving parts? So how on earth does it do it?
All right, so our little water molecule's first big challenge is just getting in the door. It has to get from the soil into the plant's root system, and it turns out plants have a couple of really powerful, pretty clever ways to make that happen.
So the first method is just pure brute force. It's a process called imbibition, and honestly, it's less about biology and more about raw physics. Just think of a really dry sponge soaking up water. Dry plant materials, like seeds, are packed with these water-loving particles that create this powerful pull, yanking water in with some serious force.
Just how powerful are we talking? Well, a dry pea seed, as it's soaking up water, can generate an internal pressure of up to 1,000 bars. To put that in perspective, that's almost the same pressure you'd feel at the bottom of the Mariana Trench. It's a staggering amount of force from something as tiny as a seed.
And this isn't just a theoretical number either. The force of germinating seeds swelling up with water is literally strong enough to crack pavement and split concrete. It's that initial, powerful step that lets a tiny seedling just burst right out of the soil.
But, brute force isn't the only way in. The second method is way more subtle. It's all about osmosis. Now, you've probably heard of diffusion, right? This simple idea that particles tend to spread out. Well, osmosis is like a special VIP version of diffusion that's only for water moving across a selective barrier, like a cell membrane. This is how individual cells actually drink.
And the consequences of osmosis for a cell, they can be pretty dramatic. If the water outside a root cell has fewer dissolved things in it, that's a hypotonic solution, water rushes into the cell and it swells right up. But if the soil water is really salty, a hypertonic solution, water gets pulled out of the cell, causing it to shrink. So plant cells are always trying to keep things hypotonic to keep that water flowing in the right direction.
Okay, so our water molecule made it inside the root. Great! Now for the truly mind-bending part. The long climb up the plant's stem, fighting gravity every single inch of the way. Now here's the crazy twist. There is no pump at the bottom pushing water up. No way! The engine is actually at the very top, and it's pulling. And that engine has a name: transpiration. It's basically the evaporation of water from the plant's leaves. This whole thing works because of two amazing properties of water. First, you've got cohesion. Water molecules are like tiny magnets. They stick to each other, forming this perfect unbroken chain. Then you've got adhesion. Those same molecules also stick to the sides of the plant's internal pipes, which are called the xylem. Together, these two forces create a continuous column of water. So when just one molecule evaporates from a leaf, it tugs the entire chain up, molecule by molecule, all the way from the roots.
And just like that, our water molecule has reached the leaf. Its journey is almost over, but this final stage, its escape into the atmosphere, is arguably the most important part of the entire process.
Way back in 1926, a botanist named Otis Curtis just perfectly captured the paradox of this whole thing. He called transpiration a necessary evil. But why evil? Because for the plant to survive, it has to lose a huge amount of the very thing it works so hard to get in the first place. So why is this evil so necessary? Well, for one, it acts like a built-in air conditioner, protecting leaves from overheating in the sun. That stream of water moving up is also the plant's delivery service, bringing up essential minerals from the soil. And here's the big one. The tiny pores on the leaf, the stomata, have to be open for water to escape. And those exact same open pores are the only way for the plant to breathe in the carbon dioxide it needs for photosynthesis. It's a fundamental trade-off. No water loss, no life.
So this whole engine is really driven by the sun's energy, which means it's mostly a daytime thing. At night, those pores, the stomata, they close up. So does everything just stop? Well, not quite. The plant actually has a backup system. At night, if the soil is really wet, pressure can actually build up in the roots and literally push water up the stem. Since the main doors, the stomata, are closed, this water gets forced out as liquid droplets through these special pores on the leaf edges called hydothodes. And this process is called guttation.
So you've got this incredible pull system during the day, driven by evaporation, and a backup push system at night, driven by root pressure.
Okay, so we followed our water molecule from the soil all the way up the stem and out into the air. Let's just zoom out for a second and recap why this seemingly simple journey is one of the most important processes on our planet.
So, let's put it all together. Water gets in through the brute force of imbibition and that delicate dance of osmosis. It climbs hundreds of feet against gravity through a plumbing system powered by the unique properties of water itself. And its great escape, transpiration, is the engine that drives the whole shebang, allowing for cooling, nutrient delivery, and ultimately photosynthesis.
And here is the final, just unbelievable fact. A plant holds on to less than 5% of the water it takes up. Over 95% of it is just passed through the system and released into the atmosphere, just to keep that engine running.
So what looks like a ridiculously wasteful process is actually a perfectly designed, silent, solar-powered engine that sustains our world. It really makes you wonder, in our own human search for sustainable engineering and efficiency, what other lessons are hiding in plain sight, right inside the stem of a single leaf?